Today we're looking at chord substitutions, part 2. So we are going to focus on today looking at the tritone substitution. Now the reason this is called a tritone substitution is because we are taking 3, which hence the tri, and tones. So we are moving up by 3 whole tones. Now, one thing that people, like myself, find easy to do is to draw ourselves a little tiny keyboard, just so we can fully remember ourselves what semitones and tones we have. So I just pop this here for my own little reference, just so that I remember where all the sharps and flats go, the black and the white keys. So we're going to start with an example of, we've got a C major chord and we need to move up 3 whole tones, or if you want to think about it in this way, it's also 6 semitones. So 3 whole tones or 6 semitones. So we're going to start off with our C here. So I'm just going to give that a quick circle and we can see. And we're going to count up 3 whole tones from here. So a semitone would take us to the C sharp or the D flat. So a whole tone would take us to D here. So that's 1. Same again, 1 semitone, 2 semitones makes a whole, and that gives us 2 tones. Now this is where it gets a little bit different. A semitone between E and F, there is no black key. So that is a semitone in itself. So we would go to F for our first semitone, and then we would go to our black key here, and that would be our final destination. So what we can consider this key here to be is an F sharp or a G flat. Now this is something which is known as an N harmonic, which means same pitch because it's the same key, so we can see that it'll make exactly the same sound, but they have different names. The reason they have different names is to do with context of the scale that they're in. And I won't go into too much detail there. However, I will say that the reason we have these 2 names is because sometimes we need to use an alternative name because we can only use each letter of the alphabet once in a scale. So we couldn't have C, D, E, F, F sharp, A, B, C. We would have to have C, D, E, F, G flat, A, B, C, D, because we need to have every single letter included. That's a pretty general thing. So sometimes you may see things written out in this way. So it might say F sharp, G flat, but know that it's exactly the same pitch. So looking back at what we've just done, we started off with our C major here, and we went up 3 whole tones. So we went from C, up a whole tone to D, up a whole tone again to E, and then finally up another whole tone to our F sharp or G flat. And that is one way that you can work this out. Okay, an alternative to this is if we take our example of C major once again, and what we can do this time is we can use the technique of a sharpened fourth. So bear with me a second here. So if I just write out the degrees of my scale here, so C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. We know that C is our starting note. That's here, position 1. And what we do is we go to the fourth, which is F. And what we do here is we go ahead and we sharpen that fourth. So we take whatever note that we'd have here, we sharpen it, which gives us our F sharp, as we know is the correct answer from before. So that's one way we can do it. So that is the sharpened fourth way. Sharp fourth. Another way, which is fairly similar, and again I will just write out what we're doing so we can see. So this one we went from C major to our F sharp there, so we know that, and that's good. And we'll write out our scale again. C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. And again, we start with our 1 chord, our key chord, which is C, because that's the one we're looking at. And instead of going up a fourth, we're going to go up a fifth this time. So this time we end up at G. And instead of sharpening it, what we do is we take our fifth and we flatten it, which gives us our G flat. Now this brings back that idea of the enharmonics there, because these answers are the same. 2 different techniques, but give you the same answer technically. If you were ever asked a question in an exam, for example, what is the tritone substitution for C major, and you gave either of these answers, you would be 100% correct. So we had our sharp 4 way, and this now is our flat 5th. Now either one of these works. So if we just quickly go back, we can look at it as our 3 whole tones or our 6 semitones using our keyboard technique or our knowledge of semitones, and moving up 1, 2, 3 to get our answer. Or alternatively, we can use the sharp 4 technique, so counting 1, 2, 3, 4, sharpening that note and giving our answer. Or we can use the flat 5th technique, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We flatten that and that gives our answer. And that is how you can do a tritone substitution.